Hello everyone, and welcome to my studio. As we get into design, I need to offer a disclaimer, and that is I am going to offer suggestions and thoughts to help us all improve and move along with design. But the one thing we don't want is for these to be prison cells, to hold us within, to think this is the end-all final statement on design ideas and techniques. If we do, I think that it will stunt our growth, and we will not always be finding the greatest answers we can in the design. However, that being said, if I don't give some design direction, I feel like I'm doing a disservice to you, because my design sense has definitely been developed from learning, knowledge, and teaching of my instructors, reading in books, trial and error, and trying to gather as much knowledge as I can on design, not to be a slave to it, but to be able to elevate my perception on how I will create and the direction I can go given a set of circumstances or a problem. I think design is problem solving. So I'm given a problem, and how do I design it best to tell the story I want to tell, to create the environment through light, through form over form, through atmospheric perspective, and all those elements I'm doing and more, and doing problem solving. But this is my disclaimer to reiterate, this is not an exhaustive list, and this isn't everything. It's just a way to get you started. Maybe you've already thought of these things, but if you haven't, small suggestions to just get us thinking, because I think a thoughtful design is better than no thought in it, even if it's wrong. Even if the idea doesn't come to the right conclusion, as long as we're thinking about it, then we're going the right direction with design, instead of letting the image have a free-for-all and go whatever direction it wants, that we are creating it in the way that we want it to go. In design, some of the first things I think about are unity versus chaos, and balance versus symmetry. But this is a constant battle of trying to find an image for myself where I'm trying to balance the shapes without becoming symmetrical, or trying to keep the chaos of our world and nature, but also finding the higher math in it, the unity of how it fits together. I feel with design, one of the best things I could share, though I will talk about suggestions rather than someone who puts all these rules ahead and this is how design must be and things like that, is give you the whole idea of what I'm looking for when I am designing, and that's contrast. As you can see here, I've even written contrast really big in a desaturated color and really small in a saturated color. Just that alone is showing some ideas that I'm going to pass along through contrast. If you can look for that, I've heard it both ways. I've heard 70-30, 80-20, but what you're trying to divide up in your design is a majority, a dominant side, whether it be through value, through temperature, through texture. There's a myriad of different ways that you can show a dominant something in your design. So before we get into any design ideas, I first want to talk to you about focal point. And the reason I want to talk to you about focal point is because I don't want to talk to you about focal point. I don't think about a focal point when I'm painting. I think it helps me when I'm designing, and hopefully it will help you, because when I think of focal point, I start thinking of mathematically, how am I going to put shapes, and what am I going to do to create a focal point, and what is my focal point, whether it's this little spot of black or whatever. Let me tell you how I think of it. I think of it as my diva. So if we can lose the word focal point and start thinking more of a diva, it helps me in the process, because if it's my diva, I am going to know that I can't let anything upstage it. To me, the focal point is my first read. It's going to really help tell the story of whatever I'm designing. And for me, it can just be a tree, a rock, or a way to move into my painting to move around. And so I think of it as my diva. Let me give you an example. We've got our diva on stage, and she definitely wants attention. She's got the feathers, she's got the red dress, she's out there, she's shining. She wants everyone to look at her. The whole point of this scene is to see her. Well, let me tell you, the reason I call it a diva is she is angry. Boy, does she get upset when she gets upstage. She can't stand the focus anywhere else. And as soon as that focus goes somewhere else, you lose the diva. And if you think of them getting upset, you'll do far more to make that happen. And it might catch your eye more of something that in the image may be pulling your eye away. So let's give an example. If the diva doesn't want to be upstage, in order for the diva to show up, the diva likes good light, like on the stage, likes value contrast, texture. She likes to be in focus in the frame, meaning sharp edges versus soft edges. So I want to show what happens when we take the interest off the diva. Here's a start. What if we desaturate the color and reduce the value on everyone except for the one person in the back? Look how he is starting to get more attention than her. We can take it one step further by pulling that value even higher, and you can see how he is really, really competing with her. He has not one thing of importance about him, unless this was a show about, you know, the one guy who came in and wrecked the whole scene. You need some interest on him. It's definitely about her, but we have done things to the image to make it so it's not about her. I do this, and I'm sure you do as well, all the time with my paintings. I'll put a strong value contrast, a sharp edge, I'll put too much brushwork, all things in the wrong area, and they get attention. Let's do one more thing to it. So now we've even softened all the edges except for the guy raising his hand in the left corner. Unless this is a painting about him, which we said it wasn't, it's about her, we've done everything wrong to pull your interest away. So remember this when you're painting. This is a very obvious example, but you'll be surprised. A couple sharp edges in a couple trees, rock, anything, your spaceship, things where you do not want the eye to look. That's not to say you can't only have one area of value contrast, one area of sharp edges, but this is an exaggerated idea to bring the point home. Is if you feel like, or the viewer is not looking where you want them, start looking around what the problems could be and start fixing those up so we can make the diva happy.